You're listening to the main event with Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. on WHIP.
My lover's got humor. She's the giggle at a funeral. Knows everybody's disapproval. I should have worshipped her sooner.
Time in the studio is 11:17. Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here with you, taking you up until noon Eastern time, where the Temple Sports Hour will come your way. Big week last week. On Wednesday, it was National Signing Day. Temple gets three four-star recruits in Greg Webb, TJ Simmons, and Kareem Ali Jr., and a bunch of other in the class of 20. Now joining us on the hotline was a man that played an instrumental role in the recruiting process. He's a defensive line coach for Temple University, and that is our buddy Elijah Robinson. Coach Robinson, great to talk to you again. It's Zach and Chase here on campus. How are you?
How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great, and we appreciate you giving us a few minutes on the show today. So let's just take a quick look at this. TJ Simmons is one of the feature names in this class. He's a four-star recruit from Florida. We had him on the show last week. Really great kid. Exciting to see his hard, physical bruising style at Temple. How'd you land TJ Simmons? Take me through the recruiting process, because you played a vital role in that.
Well, TJ, I recruited, we recruit certain parts of Florida, in the Tampa area. Lakeland area is one of my areas that I recruit in Florida. So, during the spring, you do your traditional recruiting. You go to schools and you see what guys they have, and got a chance to know they had TJ down there. So I went down there to see him and started a relationship with him, and it built over a while. And he committed to UCLA. However, we stayed in contact, and things just went from there.
Now, when you have a recruit like this that's so highly touted, everyone wants him to live up to a hype, no matter if it's a running back, a defensive lineman, a cornerback, a quarterback, whatsoever. As a coach, how do you challenge this kid to live up to that four-star ranking?
Well, the key thing is to be honest with the recruiting process. You let them know how hard we work, what we expect from our guys here. And then once he got here and got a chance to talk to Coach Rule, talk to Coach Foreman, and realize, hey, no matter what star you are, once you get to college, you're a freshman again, and you have to earn your reps, you have to earn your keep here. And TJ understood that, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to go somewhere where he could compete. He wanted to go somewhere where he can make an impact. So like I said, it's all about the kid, man. The kid is beyond his age as far as the maturity level.
Coach Elijah Robinson is our guest on WHIP Radio alongside Zach Gelb. I'm Chase Sr. Elijah, you've played an instrumental role in the recruiting process of late. What is your pitch to these prospective athletes that come to Temple University? It's a question that I enjoy asking all of the coaches here at Temple University.
Well, my first pitch is just, being honest. Really build a relationship and being honest with the kid, his family. And then to sell this great city of Philadelphia, man, and what Temple has to offer. Like I said, it's world-renowned education here. You put it up against anybody, so that's the key thing. If a kid is really interested in getting a great education. After that, you talk about his opportunity to come here and be an impact player if he's a caliber, a kid of TJ's caliber. And then next, you sell what our vision is here. Our vision is to win some conference championships here. Our vision is to recruit great student athletes. And when those guys get to come on campus and spend time with our players, they see they have the same vision as those guys. So it's becoming much easier once our players get involved.
I talked to you right after we wrapped up the National Signing Day show, which broadcast on owlsports.com last Wednesday. And I asked you how you were doing. You said you were doing well. You had just gotten the last facts in from Josiah Bronson, a defensive lineman, a freshman, 6'5", 265 from Covington, Washington. So you play a role in getting TJ Simmons in Florida, and then you also play an integral part in getting Bronson all the way across the United States. Both of his brothers played in the NFL. I know you're really high on this guy. Just tell our listeners why you're high on Bronson.
Well, one thing when you go through the recruiting process, you look for what players are more than one sport athletes. And Josiah, he plays football obviously. Then he's a heck of a basketball player. When you watch him move around, the things that he do, you say, man, this guy's an athlete. There's no fat on his body. And he can be special. I think he's a guy that can play defensive end, but can also grow into a heck of a three technique. So he's explosive. He's athletic, and he comes from a great pipeline of football players with both his brothers playing in the NFL.
Greg Webb is a tremendous player. I really think he's going to be a big factor for you guys. And your defensive line was excellent last year. He's 6'1", 312 pounds from the Timber Creek area. We all know that he went to the JUCO level last year. What do you want to try to improve on Greg Webb's game when you look at it on the film?
Well, just the fact of getting back into the flow of playing Division I ball. He played junior college ball, which is a great conference where he plays his ball very competitive in that junior college conference. But once he gets here, just get him caught up on our defense here. Make sure he's comfortable with what his job is and his role, and then from there, really get him in shape as much as possible before the first game of the season.
Elijah Robinson is our guest. Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here with you on WHIP Radio in Philadelphia, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. So when you're looking at one of these defensive linemen, what are some of the things that you look at from a technique standpoint when you're recruiting a defensive lineman?
First thing we want to look off, we have standards of what we look for, on defense. It starts with Coach Snow. But one thing we want to look off is see if a kid has get off. When we say get off, we talk about stimulus and response. And our stimulus is always going to be keying the ball. And for a kid in high school that can really key the ball and get off on the snap of a ball, we think that's pretty special. That's something that you can teach over time. But when a guy has that talent, it's just a natural talent. We know that's something special that we can do with that, and that's one thing we look for. How athletic he is. Can he key the ball and really get off of the ball? Is he violent with his hands? We look for all those little things in guys.
Coach Elijah Robinson is our guest right now on WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. And, Coach, you spent some time at Penn State after you had a nice career there, and then you come to Temple as a coach. What did you see here at Temple University that drew your attention here to North Philadelphia, and what kind of impact did Matt Rule have on you coming here?
Just to go back 3 or 4 years after every game. When I was at Penn State, we played Temple. One thing the players always said was, "Man, that was a physical game," or "Man, my body's sore." That Sunday morning was a tough Sunday morning for Penn State players because every time we play Temple, we know, hey, it's going to be a dogfight. And just to get a chance to come here and see the players and talk to Coach Rule, the vision that he has for this program and the passion he has for this program, I wanted to be a part of it. And I think something special is going to happen here at Temple, and I want to be a part of that special thing.
I get a great vibe every time I talk to you and the rest of the coaching staff. Can you just take us through the relationship that you have with the rest of the guys on this staff? Because Matt Rule has really put together a lot of studs on this coaching staff.
Well, one thing is we spend time outside of football. I think is really important. We're not just co-workers, we know each other's families. We spend time around each other's families. We know each other's kids. Like I said, just for instance, Coach Francis Brown, me and him play high school ball together. We play Little League together. So it's like there's a connection on our staff some way, somehow with everybody on our staff. And I think that's really special for us.
And that connection has gotten you to get Matt Rule a little bit well-versed in the rap world, right?
Well, he had a special guest for Young Jeezy came by. So
yeah.
He's really diverse when it comes to his youth. He has his country, he has his gospel, he has his rap music, so he does it all.
You know what's so shocking to me, and I love Ed Foley. I just think he's such a bright football mind, but we had Fran Brown on during the season, and he said, hey, I'm not the coach with the most swag. It's Ed Foley. He's the swag coach. Can you explain to me how Ed Foley is the swag coach? Because you younger guys should be getting the swag on the sideline.
Yeah, well, I think that's why Coach Foley has that title, because you won't expect it, bro. And then, like you said, when he comes up with his knowledge, you're like, oh, man, Coach Foley, he gets to the game. So, yeah, Coach Foley, he earned that title. He earned that title.
We're spending a few minutes with Elijah Robinson, who's our guest, the Temple University defensive line coach. Owls are getting set for opening night up against Penn State. The Nittany Lions come into town the first weekend of the college football season. Your defense, they were excellent last year. They were one of the best in the country. You guys had a really good pass rush. The linebacking play has always been a solid part of Temple University, and there were big improvements in the secondary with Champ and Alex Wells, and Tavon Young played a big role. How does this defense get better? Because you do return a lot of guys.
Well, there's a lot of things we can work on. We can work on the details of everything. We can work on guys just knowing their jobs and playing 6 seconds through every snap. So we have a long way to go. You know, I know we had some success this past season, but we just want to get better, you know. And with the guys we have, I think they're hungry to do that.
You have some younger guys, too. Let's get a little update report on these guys. How about Thrift, Dogby, and Freddie Booth-Lloyd? All three of those guys, how bright of a future do they have?
Those guys are all working hard. You know, they're really attacking this off season. They made tremendous strides as far as gaining weight or losing weight, whatever they had to do, whatever our plan was for these guys. But these guys, I think they can have a bright future if they continue in the path that they're on now, as hard as they're working. So they just keep that up and then get a chance to show what they can do this spring, and we'll go from there.
We're talking to Elijah Robinson, and Coach, this team won 2 games in 2013. In 2014, Temple won 6 games, missing just outside of an appearance in a bowl game. How has that motivated the team during the offseason? Because this is a hungry squad right now in offseason workouts.
Well, one thing our guys want to do is leave no doubt, and that's one thing they talk about is leaving no doubt. So with that being said, these guys are going to do what they're going to need to do to take their games to the next level, you know, take this team to the next level and do what they have to do to hopefully have a good enough season where now we won't be held out of a bowl game next season.
Coach, before we let you run, as we're talking to Elijah Robinson of Temple football, when you're recruiting a player, and their parent asks you, or the kid asks you, hey, I'm going to be going to your university for 4 years. Why is Temple the best decision for me? Why should I trust you as a coach to make my son from a boy into a man? What do you say to that parent?
Well, I tell parents the number one thing they can reach out to see what I'm saying, is it sincere or is it just smoke I'm blowing, is by reaching out to former players, the relationships I have with former players, talking to our kids, because kids won't lie to kids won't lie to parents, and then reaching out to parents of guys that I coached or guys that I'm coaching now, and right there you can get an answer. But like I said, we want people to come to Temple because they want to be at Temple, and when they come to our official visits, they see the academic program we have here. They see our weightlifting staff, they see our coaching staff, and then they get a chance to hang around our players. And if those things right there don't make it want to be a Temple, I don't know what will. But like I said, we did a tremendous job, I think, this year in recruiting. Our players did a heck of a job with hosting these guys, and the parents got a chance to hang around our staff. So, like I said, I think that all paid off for it. So the university sells itself, you know, and our kids do a great job selling our program.
Coach, continued success. We appreciate the time today. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
There's Elijah Robinson joining us on the hotline, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. Okay, time in the studio right now is 11:30. What we'll do right now is we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, Will Cummings will join us. But coming up next is a sports update from our one and only Tom Hanslin. Ben Ott's in the studio, brother. It's a great day here. Time in the studio is 11:30.